So, Hare Krishna, everybody. Yesterday, we had discussed about the relevance of Bhagavad Gita in today's life and what Bhagavad Gita is about. So, Bhagavad Gita is one of the Upanishads. We call it Gita Upanishad, which is a part of the Bhishma Parva of Mahabharata, written by Vyasadeva, and it is a dialogue between Lord Sri Krishna and Arjuna at Kurukshetra, just when both the armies were facing one another and ready for the battle. So at that time, Arjuna had a confusion. Arjuna was undergoing lot of conflict with his duties and his family relationships, and that's where he surrenders to Krishna, asking him to guide him. And Krishna then gives him this knowledge by which Arjuna is enlightened, and he comes to a position where he can take suitable decision and then becomes ready to fight. So it is relevant to us also, because in these days, all of us are going through some or the other stresses, conflicts, problems, confusions, anxieties. So this is called a user manual for the human life. We should know how to function, how to use our body so that we can progress spiritually. So the other topic is from whom you should learn Bhagavad Gita. Who is the right person? So we have to learn from a spiritual master who belongs to a parampara, who is authorized, a bona fide parampara system. Means what? It should come from authority and passed down the lane to its disciples exactly in the manner or with the meaning interpretation with which it was told by the Supreme Lord himself. So no additions, no subtractions, nothing to be added, nothing to be deleted, and no interpretations of our own. Exactly how it was communicated to Arjuna, the same understanding has to be communicated down the line to all the people who are reading or who are trying to understand the scripture. So we have four prominent paramparas: the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Parampara, Sri Vaishnavas, that is the Sri Sampradaya, then the Kumara Sampradaya, and the Rudra Sampradaya. Out of which now in this yoga, mostly two are prominent, that is the Sri Sampradaya and Gaudiya Sampradaya, but Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. These two are prominent at present. So it just means that the Supreme Lord had spoken about it to Brahma.
वही
Brahma
वो
gave Buddha.
अभी रुको
Narada
तो
gave
बाद में बात करूंगी क्लास चल रही है वही वो भगवत गीता वही वो भगवत गीता की मेरे को कॉल आई थी ना
Haribol, can all of you mute yourself?
कल से स्टार्ट हुई है
Mata, you can mute everyone.
Yeah, I have just done it. Yeah. So now the two sampradayas are prominent. One I told you that comes from Brahma. The other one comes from Lakshmi Devi. So the Supreme Lord told it to Lakshmi. And then in that sampradaya, the prominent acharya is Ramanujacharya. In our sampradaya, we have Madhvacharya. So any person who belongs to this parampara and who has been authorized by the gurus of this parampara, from them you can learn.
9 बजे तक
From them you can learn Bhagavad Gita. So I am telling you that ISKCON follows Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. Srila Prabhupada comes down the lane, the 32nd Acharya after Madhvacharya, and he has been giving this knowledge through Bhagavad Gita as it is. It comes very nearest or the best explanation, closest to what Krishna gave to Arjuna at that time. Then why we have to read Bhagavad Gita? to solve our problem so that we understand our position well and understanding the concepts, we take the right decisions in our life. We know how to proceed, what to learn.
बोले
Hare Krishna, Chetna Mataji, you are unmuting yourself several times. Would you please stay muted?
okay.
Yeah. Stay away from your phone, ma. Don't touch the screen. You're unmuting frequently. Right. Then from whom? From a bona fide guru. So what is a guru? Guru is the one who is nearest to the Shastras. He doesn't interpret. He just tells you exactly how he was taught by his guru. So a guru doesn't talk anything else other than what is mentioned in the Shastras. And he is the one who takes you closer to the God, never pushes you away from the God. Means he should follow all the rules and regulations of mentioned in the scriptures. He follows it himself. He is self-realized and he teaches you the same. Then we understood the importance of Bhagavad Gita. Even Shankaracharya vouches for it. And he mentions in his Gita Mahatmya, the 7 verses what he mentions. One of them is Gita is considered to be the most purifying scripture. He says, just as we take a holy dip in the Ganges to purify ourselves from our sins, which is not possible for everybody taking a dip every day. So he says, if you take dip in the literature of Bhagavad Gita, you are purified. And there is even something mentioned in the Padma Puran where Parvati Devi asks about Gita Mahatmya, inquires Lord Shiva, and Shiva also tells her the importance of this scripture. Okay, so with this we begin today. Today's topic is Jeev Atma. So we dedicate this session to His Divine Grace, Sri A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, the founder Acharya of ISKCON. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. So we'll learn today about ourselves, who we are. So if I ask you a question, who are you? What would you say?
Name.
Yeah. Yes, you will tell your name. So how will you tell? Who are you? Just give me the answer.
My name is Gita.
Okay. Somebody else. I want 5 answers.
I'm a human being.
I'm a
Okay.
soul.
Okay. Yes. Any other answer?
By interacting ourselves.
I'm the
Okay.
child of God. The child of God.
Okay.
I'm Krishna's
I am the combination of body, mind, and the spirit in the waking state.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so you are asking who are you? So obviously, I take it in the context that I am embodied, not disembodied. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Any other answer? Uh, who are already exposed to Bhagavad Gita, a little bit of knowledge might give such answers. But usually, when somebody asks you, you're in a school or you're in your office, you're somewhere, if anybody asks, who are you? How do you answer? So normally we tell, right? We are so and so, or we are so and so's wife. I am the daughter of so and so. Or you will tell your post, ki, I am the CEO of this company. Right? That is how we introduce ourselves. isn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
So we are all relating to our designations or our bodies, and that's how we identify ourselves. And the question, Prabhupada had asked one boy once, he said, are your videos on? If some of your videos are on, probably we can have a nice demo of this thing. So the question is, he says, point your head. Those of you whose videos are on, can you just point your heads? Point your hands. Point your ears.
Mataji, you're muted. Please unmute yourself.
Okay. Right. I need to share the screen as well. Okay. So we need to know who we are. Right? We all identify ourselves with this body. Teacher, or you are a doctor, whatever it is. So who are you? Let us see who we are. So today we are going to understand what is soul, what is the difference between body and soul, if at all there is a difference, and what is the size and shape of the soul, the nature of soul and its food, and then a little bit about reincarnation. So actually, let us understand, are we body or we are something else? What is our duty if we are soul? And what is it that we have to do with this body? So you tell me, what is life? What is life? Or what is death? How will you define death?
End of life.
Yes, so absence of life. So what is this thing that identifies that?
Soul only.
Yeah.
Breathe.
So yes. So this particular energy, there is something like our body is there. We are alive, we are functioning. And the moment death comes, the body becomes immobile. There is no activity. There is nothing happening over there. Then we call it a dead body. Right? The moment the person is dead, you don't call him by name. You just say his body. You don't say he, you say his body. Means he and body are two different things. So this active force which enlivens the body is the soul. So once this active force is gone, when the soul is gone, nobody is attracted to that body, right? This same body which was so precious for us suddenly becomes useless. The moment it is dead, what you want to do? You want to dispose it as soon as possible. Nobody wants to keep it at home, right? You want to perform the last rites, get rid of the body, you don't keep it anymore. So this active force that makes the body alive, or it makes it dead. So as long as it is present, the body is alive. When it leaves, the body is dead. So this soul is the most important part. So what are the symptoms of this soul? How do you identify whether the soul is present or not? By the consciousness, right? When the soul is present, you are active, you are doing some activity, or the body gives certain symptoms or signs by which you identify, yes, the person is alive. And when those things are absent, you say, yes, the person is dead. So we are all spirit souls in this material body. Just see this. I need to share the screen. Yeah, is the screen visible?
Yes, Bhagini.
Okay. So just look at this. These are some famous personalities. Can you identify them?
His Mother Teresa,
Yes.
A.R. Rahman.
Yeah.
Albert Einstein, Nelson Mandela,
Nelson Mandela.
Roger Federer.
Good.
Steve Jobs,
Barack Obama.
Oprah Winfrey.
Queen
Queen
Elizabeth,
Elizabeth.
Good. Let us see the next slide. Can you identify these people?
No.
Yeah, try.
I
At
think the
least one of them
symptom.
probably you can guess.
Yeah, Queen Elizabeth.
the third, second,
Second row, third one, Queen Elizabeth.
Their childhood pictures.
even the fifth one.
Yes, these are the childhood
Second.
pictures. All three belong to the same personality. Okay, the first row is one personality, second is the other personality, third is the other personality.
Charles. First one, Charles, I think.
Okay. Okay, first
Second
one is
one,
The second one is of Queen Elizabeth.
yes.
second
Yes.
one.
Third one is Federer. Okay, let us go to the next slide. Can you identify here?
First one is Nelson Mandela.
Mhm. Okay, this last one.
Barack Obama.
Yeah. This one is Mother Teresa. Fine. So now you tell me, all these three look very different, isn't it? You can
Yes.
see these pictures as well, right? So they all look so different, and yet you are taking the same name. So you are identifying the same person in all the photographs. What makes you say they are the same? Why did you accept, though they are looking so different? So let us understand this. This shows that our body undergoes changes constantly, but the soul within it remains the same. So it's the same Obama as a child, as a teenager, as youth, as adolescent, then as an old man, everything, right? He's the same person. So what is happening? The body is undergoing changes, whereas the soul within remains the same. So the identity is the same over there. So we will understand what the soul is here. We remain the same while the body is constantly changing. And that is a proof that the soul is existing. So what are the symptoms of the soul here? There is birth, there is growth, then you maintain yourself for a while, then you produce byproducts, that is, you have children, and then you become old, you dwindle, and finally die. So these are the changes that are constantly happening to the body and which are exhibited only when the soul is present. If the soul leaves the body at any stage, then there is no further activity taking place there. Once you're dead, then the body doesn't move, doesn't grow, doesn't change. So sense of this identity is actually coming from soul. That is, we call it the jiva or the jivatma within the body. So we understand here, soul and body are different. Jiva is different from the body, which is why a person's identity does not change even when the body gradually changes. While the body changes in many ways throughout our lifetime, the soul remains the same. So that's why there's a shloka in chapter 2, 13th shloka that says, Dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yovanam jara tatha dehantara praptir dhiras tatrina muhyati. Means the constant change is happening in the body and the soul is undergoing those changes. And the moment the body is useless, or when we say it's dead, the soul just leaves this body and enters another body. So, it is just like that. As the different stages from birth to child to youth, youth to old age, after old age, next body. So the soul is constantly undergoing this transformation from one body to another. So knowing this, he says, a person who knows this truth is called dhira, means he is no longer agitated with birth and death. So here it says, Nainam chindanti shastrani, means the soul can never be cut into pieces by any weapon, nor burned by fire, nor moistened by water, nor withered by the wind. So these are the qualities of the soul. So who is dying? The body is dying. Soul is simply migrating from one body into another body.
Soul is a continuous presence, correct?
It is eternal. It's present. See, it is present in a body for a particular period of time, and then it migrates to another body. That's when we call it dead, right? The moment it leaves that particular body, we say the person is dead, because that body is no longer of any use and it will decay very soon. So where did the soul go then? Did the soul die?
No,
No.
it goes to
It
another
goes to
body.
another body. So that is the truth. We have to understand this aspect. So here you can see in the picture, you have the car, then you have a cage, and then you have a dead body over here. So we can compare this. The car is a machine, a body which is functioning as long as the driver is sitting over there. Yes?
Yes.
Somebody has to on it. You have to move it right or left, give it directions, and the car is moving. So similarly, our body is just an instrument which is controlled by the soul within. As long as the soul is occupying that body, the body is in a position to move, grow, show all these changes. And when the death comes, the body is destroyed, but the soul remains. So just here we see, when there is an accident, the car is destroyed. So when there is death, the body is destroyed, but the soul is intact. So what is more important? Soul is important. Now you see here the prison and the bird inside. So this old lady is taking care of this prison, and she has a nice bird within the cage. Now every day she is polishing, dusting the cage, taking very good care, cleaning it, and it's shining bright, but ignores the bird inside. Now you don't feed the bird, but you just dust the cage, wash it, keep it very neat and clean. What will happen?
Bird will die.
One day the bird will die. And then what will you do with that cage? So the cage doesn't have a meaning if the bird is not there. Right? You bring the cage only to keep that bird inside it. Do you just keep an empty cage just for the sake of keeping it?
No.
No. So the cage is meant for the bird. So our body is meant for the soul within. So if you take care only of the body and do not nourish the soul, just like this lady taking care of the cage and not feeding the bird will die one day. So similarly, we have to take care of our soul as well. So body, anyhow, we take care, right? We eat, we wear nice clothes, we do a lot of makeup, we want to look perfect, very appreciable, beautiful and all. But if you do not nourish your soul, then this is what happens. You will die one day. And however nice your body is, however beautiful you are, however robust you are, it is of no use. You are going to bury it or burn it down. So polishing the cage is of no use until and unless you feed the bird within it. So just maintaining your body is of no use until and unless you nourish the soul within it. So what is the soul? Soul is not matter. Soul is something spiritual because matter is your body. So our body is made up of actually three parts. You can say a gross body that is made up of these five elements, which we call the Panchabhutas: earth, water, air, fire, and ether. Then you have the subtle body, which is your mind, intelligence, and ego. And then you have the soul within. The soul is eternal, it is full of knowledge, and its presence makes the body alive. So these are the three aspects. Now, different species have different qualities of the body. Okay, you know the demigods? Demigods have more of the subtle body and less of the gross body. We humans have more of the gross body and less of the subtle body. But the bodies are there, occupied by the soul within. So let us understand the difference between the body and soul. Now that we understood, we are identifying with our bodies, whereas the soul is the most important part. And soul is eternal. So soul is a spirit. It exists permanently, whereas the body withers with time. We have seen, right? You are born, you stay for some time, and then you become old, you wither, and then finally you dwindle, you die. So body is temporary. And body is constantly changing. You're not the same from the moment you are born, right? You saw in the photographs how different we look at various stages of our life. So body is constantly changing. So different bodies have different shape, size, depending on the race, on the genetic tendencies, your age factors, right? The appearances might vary with all these factors. And these changes are quite obvious, very visible. The body doesn't have any consciousness of its own, but the presence of soul brings the consciousness to it. So body is visible, soul is not visible. Soul provides the life to the body. Body in itself cannot be lively. Then the body can be destroyed, it can be burnt, it decomposes. It is the source of trouble, it is a source of pain also to us. So pain and pleasure are exhibited by the body. Whereas the soul, separation of the soul from the body will lead to death. Soul is permanent. And after the death, the soul remains, means it has only the subtle body. So it is losing the gross body, but the subtle body is still remaining, with which it will enter or accept another body. Which body? We have got so many bodies. I'll tell you shortly how many bodies are there. So the soul can enter any of them. So when you see the differences, you observe that body and soul are totally opposite to one another. They are exactly opposite. So one is visible, the other is not visible. One undergoes changes, the other doesn't undergo any change, right? One is lively, provides life. The other one doesn't have any power. So you see in this picture, you see the changes. When you're born, you're small. Gradually, you keep growing. And then you start dwindling. And finally, you are dead, where you have to leave the body. So the body is temporary. And then the soul, after leaving this body, migrates to another one. Again, this cycle will start. So this constant birth and death, change of bodies is continuing for several ages, for several births, just the way soon after you are born, you keep changing the appearance and form of yourself. Right? The changes are constantly happening. So if you are born, the soul is born means the soul will leave the body also. So when there is birth, there is death as well. So according to one's activities, the soul has to take birth. After you finish one term of activities, you have to die. Again to take birth. Then you enter into the next cycle, and then the next cycle, and this keeps on going. So what you understand, birth and death is not in your control. It's a constant cycle which will be going on, and the soul is eternal, always remaining there. The soul never dies. So with this, what is Krishna trying to tell? He said the war is inevitable. People will die. You cannot stop anyone from dying. So he says there is no need to grieve about it. Once you understand that the soul is changing its body, there is nothing to become sad about it. So we can read the slide. Those who are seers of the truth have concluded that of the non-existent, there is no endurance, and of the existent, there is no cessation. This seers have concluded by studying the nature of both, meaning by studying the nature of the body and the soul, the conclusion has come. What is the conclusion? That which exists means they're talking about the body. Okay, and non-existent means they are talking about the soul. So one is eternal. There is no cessation means there is no end to it. It will never stop. Okay. So the soul doesn't cease to exist. It is always there. This is the conclusion they have derived. Let us come to some of the facts of the soul. So where is the soul situated? None of us have seen the soul, right? Can you see? We cannot see. So let us understand some qualities of the soul. The soul is said to be seated in the heart. And it is very, very, very minute. The size of the soul is 1/10,000th part of the tip of your hair. Now, the tip of the hair in itself is very minute. And imagine 1/10,000th part. How tiny it can be. Immeasurable, you can't even see. That small, and yet it has got the capacity to enliven your body. It is all pervading, means it is present or it spreads throughout your body. And it gives consciousness. The soul is conscious. It is unchanging, means the 6 changes what we have talked about, right? Your birth, growth, then maintaining, then reproducing, dwindling, and death. So these changes do not happen to the soul. Then the soul is eternal and full of knowledge and full of bliss because it is a part of the super soul. It is part of the Supreme Lord. So it has got the same qualities. It is eternal. Nobody can kill. Then The soul is a seeker of God. It is fireproof, unbreakable, waterproof. We all know this, right? The soul cannot be killed, cannot be burnt. It doesn't get wet with water. The fire cannot burn it. No weapon can destroy it. How will you destroy? You can't even see it. So, how are you going to destroy it? What are you going to destroy? And then the soul travels from one body to another. So the question arises, if the soul has to keep changing the bodies, then do we keep changing only in the human bodies? Is that the only body available? Well, the answer is no. There are several species, several kinds of bodies, amongst which the soul can take any of them, depending on your activities, your karma. So that we'll understand when we study about the karma, how it functions. So at present, let us just understand the concept of body and soul, both being different, totally opposite in nature, yet together in one body. And at death, the soul has to leave the body and it has to accept another body. It can accept any body from all these. You have insects, you have animals, you have water creatures, you have birds, you have trees as well. So it can take any body. So this is a shloka from the, I think it is from the Padma Puran. Yeah, it is from the Padma Puran. Okay, so it says Nava Lakhnai Sthavara means there are species, so many species are there, right? So Navalakha is 9 lakhs. So it is talking about the various species. So you see, there are 84 lakh species in all. This is mentioned in the Vishnu Purana. All the species are existing already. They have been made, something like a template is made, and all you need to do is produce the bodies. So the template of that particular species is already created and Brahma is ready with all the equipment. The soul has to just enter that body. So you have 9 lakh species in water. You have so many species of trees and plants. Then you have insects and reptiles. You have birds. You have four-legged animals. And there you see how many human species are there?
4 lakh.
4 lakh species of humans. So now you have a vast choice, right? You can choose anyone from these 84 lakh. So you will be one somewhere. So not necessary that you will get another human body or you will always accept a human species. This is of no guarantee. You can be any one of all these. So Padma Puran and Vishnu Puran mention about these things. So as per the biologists, the species are different. But as per the Vedic meaning of species is based on the level of consciousness of the living entity. Okay. So biologically, when we talk about the gross features. You have a description about the legs, the body features, appearance, the morphological features, based on that, the classification is done. But when you say species, as per our Vedas, the meaning is this, depending on the level of consciousness. So each species may have different levels of their consciousness. You can easily understand when you go to the plants cannot move, they cannot defend themselves, right? So their level of consciousness is different. A little higher when you come to the animals, you see the animals can react. And they react in a quite obvious manner. The trees we cannot understand so much. Then when you come to humans, the level of consciousness is much, much higher. And if you come to civilized humans, they are much more higher. So there is a difference in each species. So with this, what you understand, the process of evolution through these 84 lakh species of life has been going on since time immemorial. We already understood that the spirit soul never dies and is never born, it is eternal. So just like a person gives off his old garments, wears new garments, the same way the soul discards the old body, accepts a new body. So the most important species of these 84 lakh species, which one is the most important? Definitely the human species is important. So what are you supposed to do with this important human species? The Vedanta Sutra instructs Atatho Brahma Jignasa. So in this human form, it's time to inquire about spiritual realization, which is not possible in any of the other species. So it says, "O intelligent person," means every intelligent person must ask these questions and should search for the right answers from the right sources. What are the questions? Who am I? What is the real mission of human life? What is the ultimate purpose of our existence? So all these questions come only in the human bodies. Till then, your level of consciousness is so low that you are worried only about eating, protecting yourself, taking care of your bodies. Okay. So as the consciousness improves, then this inquisitiveness about yourself, inquiring about who you are, should naturally come. So the next point is reincarnation. Do we reincarnate? In a way, yes. How? Because you are leaving the body. So this shloka says, as the embodied soul continually passes in this body from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. The self-realized soul is not bewildered by such a change. So once you understand the concept of body and soul, you need not be very anxious about your death. So the human platform is subjected to the results of